let's talk about Pullman's water supply.
Pullman is facing water aquifer issues. What are your plans and strategies to remedy this crisis?
Now, unlike Seattle, Spokane, or even Lewiston, Pullman doesn't use any surface sources in its municipal water supply, which means that none of the water that comes out of your faucet was pulled from any local streams, rivers, or creeks. All of it was pulled out of the ground. You see, underneath the soft, loamy soil of the Palouse, there's rock, specifically volcanic basalt, thousands and thousands of feet of it. When you drive into the Snake River Canyon, you can see these rock layers pretty clearly. Over millions of years, these rock layers have compressed and folded, creating voids and spaces where water is able to collect. These water-filled rock layers may be large, but they are not evenly distributed. Together, they form the Grand Ronde Aquifer, covering an area of the Palouse about like this. We don't know much about the water that's stored here. We don't know how much there is. We don't know entirely where it is. But there's one important detail that we do know. We are currently taking water out a whole lot faster than new water is going in. And that's a problem. The city of Pullman owns and operates a number of wells located inside the city limits. These wells vary in depth from about 100 to almost 1,000 feet deep. That's like if you dug at the top of Lewiston Hill and went all the way down to here. Now, over the past many decades, Pullman's side of the aquifer has been dropping at the rate of about 1 or 2 feet per year. But Moscow's has been dropping a lot faster, and no one really knows exactly why. Like I said, it's hard to know exactly what's going on underground. But the important takeaway is that our aquifer is a finite resource, which means we need to be doing 2 things. Number 1, conservation, making sure that all this lasts as long as possible. And 2, securing alternate sources of fresh water. Now, what could that look like? Well, if you're the city of Moscow, you are much closer to the mountains, which offers a number of options for diverting streams and storing spring runoff. If you're further west, you might be looking at drilling additional wells outside of the Pullman area. Unfortunately, that option means tapping into the same depleting aquifer, and it's a roll of the dice if you've actually discovered any new underground water. An option that gets talked about a lot lately is the Snake River, our largest and arguably most plentiful body of water.
And then we need to research and work with groups on the Snake River option of bringing water up to pipes and using that water for various other issues that we need besides the aquifer water.
Now, all this is speculation. No actual plans have been made. But let's take a moment now to think through what it would actually take to turn the Snake River into part of Pullman's municipal water supply. The very first thing you would need is water rights. The Snake River is a federally controlled body of water, which means that it is overseen by an overlapping set of federal agencies. The Department of Interior, U.S. Forest Service, Fish and Wildlife, Environmental Protection Agency, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, even the Coast Guard has a say in how the water is used. Not to mention dozens of existing water districts and stakeholders along the river. Everyone has a say in every drop of water that goes past Whitman County. And you can't take a portion of the water out without getting their sign-off. That's a process that's going to take years and require a lot of savvy negotiation and skills in Olympia and Washington, D.C. But once you have the water rights, you still have to figure out easements and right-of-way. It's roughly 10 miles from the outskirts of Pullman to the edge of the Snake River, at least as the crow flies. But 10 miles can quickly turn into 20 once you have to navigate the various contours of the hillside. If you followed a Y grade, the route might look something like this. A route from Almota might do something similar, but all that land has to be surveyed and then permission obtained from the existing owner. Navigating the process of eminent domain takes a lot of skill and a lot of patience. The final and most visible step would be construction, or more specifically, construction funding. Constructing a pumping station that can move water 2,000 feet uphill, plus the 10 miles to Pullman, is no simple task. This would be a very expensive option, one that the city of Pullman can't afford on its own, which means partnering with state and federal lawmakers to secure outside support. This scenario is absolutely possible, and for the long-term vitality of our region, I hope it happens. But just saying the words, "I want the Snake River option," doesn't actually help it happen. I personally would love to have an Olive Garden restaurant here in Pullman, but I've been saying that out loud for years and no breadsticks have appeared in my hands. The Snake River option is not a policy preference, it's a long-term political process, one that requires a high degree of skill and statesmanship, experience navigating the waters in Olympia, an established track record of working well with our district lawmakers and our congresspersons in Washington, D.C. So let's consider this project and others as we choose our local leaders this election. And I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts about the Snake River option? What do you think it's going to take to make our water supply here in Pullman sustainable for the next 50 and 100 years? Let's talk about it in the comments, and thanks for watching.